Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, that's good. All right, let's start. Remember, scan your attendance. All right, so today we are going to another quite interesting chapter called step number 7, which is I will teach you how to prepare your development appraisal, and also sometimes we call it development budget. Okay, so far last week we actually learned about the marketing, what is the purpose to conduct market research, and I also demonstrate the process of conducting market analysis, which is the 7 step. So for today, upon completion of this chapter, you'll be able to conduct financial evaluation of development project with conventional method and also cash flow method. So basically in this chapter, I'm going to introduce a few different type. How are you going to prepare your development budget? So generally, we will divide it into conventional method, which is actually referring to your profit method, and also residue method. And I also will talk about what is the benefit of using cash flow method at the end of the class. And the second objective will be you will be able to compare what is the differences between all these methods, what are the advantages and also the disadvantages of this method available in the financial evaluation. All right, so first of all, this chapter will be divided into profit method and residue method. It is very, very, very important for you to differentiate these two methods clearly. All right. So the type of the valuation can be divided into, as I mentioned just now, profit method, okay, and also residue method. Okay, residue means surplus, balance. Okay, first type, investment risk and return is actually to establish, to test whether your project produce an adequate rate of return or not, which means that to calculate whether your project bring any profit or not for the developer or the financier. Okay, either in the term of the trading profit and investment yield or return of capital. So the first type is referring to profit method. Okay, profit method generally we use it to assess, to calculate how much return we can generate for this project. Just like last week, I told you that from step 1 until step 6, after you evaluate the demand and supply, the last step is to establish how much return are you going to generate for this project. So normally for the profit method, we are going to calculate what is the rate of return, what is the level of the return that is going to be generated. Then there are a few ways, there are a few methods to calculate, not to say to calculate, to calculate the return at the end. It can be in terms of RM, it can be in terms of percentage. Even the percentage can be divided into, you can calculate the yield, you can calculate return on capital, or you can calculate return on cost. So there are different methods to calculate, to express, that is a word, to express the rate of return in different way. Okay, there is no fixed way. It depends on the company preference. All right. So the first one is we want to know how much profit can be generated and what is the profit we can express in percentage, either 20%, 30%. Okay, it can be expressed in terms of yield, It can be expressed in terms of return on capital. It can also be expressed in return on cost. So as I said just now, there is no fixed way, there is no correct way. It just depends on the company preference and their objective. So that is the first one, the profit method. Second method is what we call residue method, is to calculate what is the land price at the end. So basically for residue method is to establish the land cost at the end by inputting predetermined level of return. Okay, I repeat again. Residue method is to calculate the residual land cost, residual site value, the land cost by inputting predetermined level of return. So which means that second method is to calculate the land cost that you are going to offer to your landowner. But before you calculate, you have to determine your level of return first. That is what we say predetermine. You determine first. So say for example, the target of the company is, let's say I want to have a 25% of the return. So this is the predetermined target, 25%. So you use this 25% to calculate the residual land cost. Say for example, you input first scenario, you put 25%. So the land cost calculated at the end is, say for example, 500K. So you use this 500K to negotiate with your landowner. That is the maximum price that you can offer to the landowner to secure 25%. So I repeat again. First, you input the predetermined level of return first. So say for example, for this project A, I want to achieve 25%. So by inputting this 25% into the appraiser, you calculated the land cost is 500,000. So that is a maximum cost that you are going to negotiate with your landowner. So let's say Charles is the landowner. Charles say 500,000, I don't think that is a very attractive. I am requesting 600,000. So say for example, Charles is the landowner. So Charles say 500,000 not so good. I don't think that is a very good offer. I would like to ask for 600,000. So now class, I want to ask you, what is the consequences if Charles requested 600,000 rather than 500,000? Anyone? Can you think of it or not? Say for example, Charles requests 600,000 instead of 500,000. What is the consequences on your appraisal, on your project? Out of budget, less return. Yeah. Actually, you can see that Charles can request 600,000, but what happened to this 25%? It will become lower because when you input 25%, the maximum cost that you can bring into discussion with the landowner is what? 500,000. So say for example, Charles requests 600,000. So now you are going to substitute 600,000 back to the appraiser. Then you will see that the 25% will be lower, become let's say 20%. So you can see that this method, okay, allows you to see how the land cost affect your predetermined level of return. By inputting 25%, you are going to have the maximum 500,000. If the land cost increase, your profit will going to reduce. However, if the land cost, let's say you 400,000, then your profit is going to increase. So that's why appraiser, sometimes we also call it financial evaluation. It allows you to test, okay, to modify the variable. By changing one variable, you will see that how it impact on your rate of return. Okay, so residual method basically is you input the level of return already. You are going to see how much land cost you can offer to the landowner. So now I want to ask you, your assignment requests you to calculate profit method or residual method. Can you answer? Class, your assignment requests you to calculate profit method or residual method. Anyone? Hey, faster eh? Your assignment requests you to calculate which method? Profit method, are you sure or not? Anyone can confirm, can have a confirmation or not? What is the question of your assignment? If I recall, your assignment actually asking you what is the land cost that you are going to offer to your landowner. So first thing, before I send you to Holland, please remember your assignment is asking residual method. So don't give me profit method. If you give me profit method, then I will send your assignment to Holland already. Okay, so first, your assignment requests you to calculate residual method. So please do not show profit method. Please do not do both method. Okay, do not give me both method, or you want to do extra, so you give me residual method, also you give me profit method. So don't give me extra. It does not bring you extra mark. Maybe I deduct your mark because I maybe perceive that you don't understand the question. So in order to avoid all these problems, so today I discuss with you. Your assignment requests you to do residual method. Okay, do not do both. Do not give me profit method. Okay. All right. So since now you have a little understanding about profit method and residual method, so now what is development appraiser? So development appraiser is to provide financial viability tests. So we test the project feasibility, whether has the ability or not at the end of the day to meet the cost, including whatever costs are, including cost of planning obligation. So when you kickstart a project, there are many costs that you are need to pay, you need to commit it. So development appraiser is to prepare to see that whether the project has the ability to pay the cost or not, while ensuring appropriate site value available for the landowner to ensure the project has a sufficient land cost, land value for the landowner, and also the risk-adjusted return to the developer in delivering the project. So which means that that is the way we test how much revenue we are going to get. Revenue, how much cost that we are going to commit, what are the costs that we had to pay, and how much revenue we are going to be get at the end of the day. And at the end, you know that the simple formula is always your profit equivalent to revenue minus your cost. So development appraiser allows you to see what is your revenue, what is your cost, and also at the end of the day, what is the profit. So basically is to test viability, feasible or not. We kickstart this project. Does it bring sufficient rate of return? Does this project have sufficient surplus at the end? So that is the answer of we doing development appraisal. Okay. And what is the purpose? An assessment of the financial viability of the development proposal is first, whether the development of the land will generate sufficient profit or not. So of course, the first one is we want to know how much profit that is going to be generated at the end. That's the profit. Of course, no profit, who want to kickstart? It actually bring back to the first chapter, microeconomic concept. So developer resources is very limited. So because of limitation, they had to decide which project to proceed. So how to decide which project they want to go for. Of course, the one that bring sufficient profit. So it brings back to the microeconomic concept, the scarcity, okay, and also the incentive that is going to be motivate the developer to go for. Okay. Second, a developer is contemplating the acquisition of the site for development. So this is actually referring to residue method. So sometimes you already know that your target return. So basically, you want to know how much the maximum land cost you can negotiate with your landowner. Just like what I discussed with you just now. If you input 25%, your land cost will be 500,000. This is the maximum. Maximum. If 501, your profit 25% will going to be bring down. So that's why this method is actually allowed the developer to know what is the maximum land cost that the developer can offer to the landowner in order to secure 25% predetermined level of return. Okay? The third one can be used to compare alternative development option. So sometimes they might have different alternative, different type of project. So how to evaluate which one is the best? So of course, the first choice can be used to determine is by conducting the development appraisal to see which project can bring you more profit. So that is a purpose. We use it to compare which option is better. Number 4, can be used to identify the extent of gap funding required when a development is needed. So when you prepare development appraisal, one of the costs that you need to calculate is finance cost. So funding cost, you are going to calculate how much funding cost you are going to pay at the end. So this interest, this funding cost, sometimes you have to know earlier first so that you will know that the company got sufficient money to pay the funding cost or not. Okay, so that is also one of the purpose to prepare the development appraisal to know the funding cost needed, how much you need bank assistance to fund this project. So how to convince, let's say, how to convince the bank to give you loan. Okay, how to convince the bank to give you bank loan for this project A. So of course, the bank will ask you, definitely the bank, the first question will ask you, how much profit you're going to be generated for this project. So in order to prove it, normally the bank also will require to check your development appraisal to see what is the revenue, how much cost you need to pay, does it bring sufficient profit or not at the end. So that is also the purpose of preparing the development appraisal to convince your funder. Okay, bank is one of your funder to fund your project. Okay, so that is the last purpose. Okay, all right. And when you prepare your development appraisal, there are many items, or sometimes we call it variable, that you are going to input into your Excel, into your development appraisal. What is variable? Variable means that land cost, construction cost, rental or selling price, interest, all these actually can be subject to change. Can be subject to change at later, because your estimate is actually just we call estimate only. Sometimes we call guesstimate. You guess only. Okay, all are estimate at the time of appraisal. Okay, what does it mean? I say all these actually are estimate at the time of appraisal. Just like right now, I ask you to prepare the assignment. So now is what? Now is July 2021. So that is the time of the appraisal. How sure are you the cost, the rental, the selling price, even the interest rate. Let's say interest rate, you assume 3%. How sure are you in the future, let's say after 1 year, because your project will not going to be kickstart so soon. Now you estimate only, but we know that by the time this project kickstart, this project tender, it could be after 1 year, July 2022. How sure are you the interest rate can remain 3% throughout this 1 year? How sure are you the selling price that you forecast, the construction cost that you forecast can remain unchanged throughout this 1 year? We all know that all these things actually subject to the market condition. So that is a risk. There is a possibility your variable will change up or down in the future. So that's why all this actually assumption that you base on current situation and you try to forecast the future. So that's why this is what we call variable. Some variable are very sensitive. Sensitive, which means that when you change the variable, let's say you change the land price, your profit will going to be reduced. Okay, let's say you change your interest rate increase, your profit also will reduce. Okay, so this is what we call variable. When we change one variable, it will impact your rate of return. So that's why all this actually based on estimate. We won't say correct estimate. We will just say that maybe the estimate just correct at the time of the appraisal, because all subject to risk later on. So that's why after this chapter, you are going to learn development risk, because we know that all these are estimate only, that you actually assume based on current situation and you try to forecast the future. So all these variables are subject to change. The change can be positive, can be negative, up and down. Eventually, it will affect your development profit. So that's why in the development risk that chapter, we are going to learn which variable are sensitive, which variable are less sensitive. But just for your information, all are estimate at the time of the appraisal. Even though at the beginning right now, I ask you to estimate, do you have the detailed drawing? Can you really estimate correctly if you do not have a detailed drawing? You don't even have the layout. So that's why that is a risk. Okay, all are subject to change in the later. All right. Okay, so now we go to the profit method first. Okay, so now you read yourself lah. Okay, this question. Okay, one thing I want to remind you is based on this question is actually asking profit method. And then when you read this question, another thing that you have to be careful is we have to know this project is what type of development. Okay, what type of development? It can be residential, it can be commercial, and some people also they actually propose mixed use. Mixed use, resi plus commercial. Okay, so if you are proposing these three different things, the appraisal will be different. Again, this one also will send you to Holland. I repeat again. You have to figure out your project is what type of development. Residential means pure residential only. Second one is commercial. Pure commercial only means you propose shopping mall or you propose office, pure only. The last one is mixed use. You want to mix like service apartment. Lowest few floor, you want to propose retail. Then upper floor, you want to propose service apartment or condo. So that is a mixed use residential. So type A, type B, type C, their development appraisal will be slightly different. So now I'm going to the first type first. If you read this question, this will be the office. So it's type B. So I go to type B first. Okay, so this question is actually want to construct 4,598 meters square of offices. So that is the pure commercial. Okay, so no matter type A, type B, or type C, the formula should be like this. You have to know how much revenue that you are going to be generated, okay, minus all the costs that you are going to commit for this project, then you will be able to calculate your profit. Okay, so for all type of the development, the formula is this. Okay, profit equals to revenue minus all the costs. So first, revenue, you have to calculate your income. What are your source of income? So this is what we call either GDV, either NDV, net development value. So second part will be the cost, which is what we call total development cost. So it can be divided into land cost, construction cost, professional fee, other costs, funding cost, letting and sales cost. Okay, now make things clear. It's not every project will follow exactly from A to F. Okay, it depends on the nature of the project. It depends on the company itself. So actually it's case by case basis. Different project will have different component. Maybe that project, the land belong to the developer, so they don't need to calculate the land cost. Or maybe they do not have the construction cost, they do not need to prepare the site. Means they don't need to have a site demolition, no need to have site clearance. So you don't need to include. So generally, all these things just serve as a guideline for you. Different project will have different component. So that's why it is actually depends on case by case basis. It depends on the nature of that project. Okay, so let's say later on when you graduate, you go up to work. So make sure you know that for the cost, it actually depends on the project. Okay, all right. So first part is we need to calculate the revenue first. Okay, first part, we need to calculate the revenue, the income first. This is what we call NDV. All right, so first thing, to kickstart, you have to differentiate what does it mean by gross area, net area. Can you see? One is the gross area, another one is the net area. Okay, I go to the net area first. Net area is those we call lettable area. Okay, net area is referring to those lettable area, which means that those areas that can generate income for you. Those areas that can generate income for you. Those areas that fulfill the building functional requirement. So it actually referring to the office spaces, retail spaces, and also the build out area for your condo that can be let out to generate income. That is what we call net. Sometimes we call internal area, sometimes we call net lettable area. Gross area is the area including your lettable area plus your circulation area. So still remember I say circulation area referring to like corridor, your common area, your lift, your staircase. Okay, ancillary area referring to what? M&E services room, plant room. So all these are lift lobby, lift area, okay, corridor. Corridor common area, can it bring income to you or not? No. So all these actually cannot park under the lettable area. Okay, but we park under the gross area. So the gross area actually referring the lettable area plus the circulation area, the ancillary area, actually referring to all your built-out area. Okay, so I hope you can clear gross area, net area. Okay, net area is only referring to those built-out area that can generate income for you. But gross area, including the lettable area, plus all the circulation area like corridor, staircase, M&E services room, including the non-lettable area. Okay, then efficiency ratio. Okay, here if you see here, efficiency ratio. Okay, I use the next slide. Okay, efficiency ratio is actually a ratio that you use to determine the percentage. The formula is net area divided by gross area. Okay, efficiency ratio equivalent to net area divided by gross area times 100%. That is the formula number 1. So if you're referring back to the question is 85%. So meaning to say that your net area is 85% of the total area, which means the remaining 15% is you allocate for those circulation area. Okay, I repeat again. 85% efficiency ratio, which means that 85% of the total area referring to those net area. So the remaining 50% referring to those circulation area or ancillary area. Okay, so now the question already told you, they want to construct 4598 meters square. So that is the gross area. Okay, so gross area 4598. So let's say you're assuming the efficiency ratio is 85%. So by then you should be able to get your net area. Okay, that is the purpose of we use the efficiency ratio to determine the ratio between net area versus the gross area. Okay, then now in what situation you need to use net area? In what situation you need to use gross area? This one also you need to open your ear, listen carefully. Okay, when you calculate your revenue, when you calculate your GDV and DV, okay, you use net area. Okay, I repeat again. When you calculate your revenue, GDV and DV, you use net area only, because that area is like what I mentioned just now, your lettable area can generate income for you. That's why you cannot use gross area, because gross area also including what? M&E services room. All that area cannot generate income. So the first part, when you calculate your revenue, you need to use net area. Then when you calculate your construction cost, you use gross area. Okay, when you calculate construction cost, you use gross area. Although those corridor, M&E services room, lift lobby, that area cannot bring you income, but you need money to build. Okay, I repeat again. Although those areas like staircase lift lobby, common area, although all these areas do not bring you any income, but we need money to build. That's why when you calculate the construction cost, you need to use the gross area. Okay, so I hope you can get this part clear. All right, go back. So first part, that's why here, first step, you use the net area, 3,908. So first, you figure out the net area first. Second part, normally for office, we rent it. Normally for commercial, like let's say office, retail, we rent. We don't sell. Maybe we'll sell, but most of the time they will rent it. Just like Sunway, most of the time they build Sunway Velocity or Sunway Pyramid, they tend to rent it out. So the first thing is you have to know what is a rental per annum, per year, not per month, per annum, per year. So say for example, the rental per annum is 350. So you times off. So you times already A times B, you get this one. This is what we call estimated rental value, ERV per year. So that is the income, that is the revenue that you are going to receive per year. Per year. Okay, now I ask you, you assuming you all are the owner of Sunway Pyramid, Sunway Velocity. Now I ask you, how many years you want to collect the rental? Anyone? Can you let me know or not? How many years you would like to collect your rental? How many years you would like to collect the rental for your property? Anyone? One, two, three. No answer. No answer. Then how? 99. Forever. Of course, based on the answer, I figure out that is it the longer the better, isn't it? If I ask Jasper say 99. I ask Charles maybe will say maybe 50 years enough lah. So when you ask different people will give you different what? Different number, different year. So the best way is we assume the rental, the revenue that we have, we can collect forever. Just like Hong Lam say, forever. Just like when your girlfriend, boyfriend asks you, how long would you love me? The safest answer is you always say, I love you forever. Correct or not? Then your girlfriend, your boyfriend will start to feel, that is a very good answer. So the answer is collect the rental forever. So in this, you need to calculate YP is year purchase. Year purchase. In perpetuity. Perpetuity means forever. Okay, assuming that this rental income, 1.3 million, we are going to collect forever. Okay, so how to calculate this YP in perpetuity? YP in forever means first you figure out the yield first, the yield. Okay, for commercial property, definitely they will have yield. Okay, if you don't know how to get the yield, very simple. You just use the formula as I always told you. Okay, the yield formula the yield formula is always you use the annual income divided by the property price. Okay, later on I have a slide. I will show you how to get the yield. Okay, but just for your information, for commercial property like office, retail, you need to use yield. Residential, no need. Residential, no need. This is the third thing I will send you to Holland. Residential property, please do not use yield. Yield is only for commercial property. Okay, so you figure out the yield first. Then how are you going to convert to YP in perpetuity? You use 100 divided by yield. 100 divided by 8. So you will get 12.5. Okay, again, I repeat again. Why you need to use yield? Because in commercial property, we assume the rental income that we receive per year, we are going to receive forever. Collect forever. That is the principle of the valuation. We assume the rental per year, we can collect forever. So how to determine forever? We use the YP in perpetuity to calculate. So you use 100 divided by yield. So this is only apply for commercial property. So you get 12.5 already. Mix later lah, Charles. 不要这样心急, sabar. Okay, let me finish this part first. I say B first. Later, I will tell you A, I will tell you C. Okay, so listen carefully first. Okay, then you use the 1.3 times 12.5. Then you will get your GDV. All right, so are you all clear? So far, are you all clear? If you are clear, give me okay. So far, until this part, are you all clear? Do you have any question? Don't ask me mix first, mix residential later, I will say. Okay, I assume okay, all right. So you will reach the state GTV. Then disposal cost, this one another thing, disposal cost, which means that you are going to dispose to three third party. You know what does it mean by dispose or not? Dispose means sell. Sometimes for commercial property, actually the company, okay, the developer, they do not want to keep the property forever. After they completed, they want to sell, they want to dispose to third party. Okay, dispose, normally we will dispose to long-term funder. This part I'm going to explain in the chapter development funding. So you just jot down first. Will dispose, normally sell to long-term funder. Who are long-term funder? Later, until that chapter, I will explain. Okay, so sometime when they completed the project already, they will dispose to third party. Okay, they don't want to keep the property. Once they completed, they want to get the profit, they dispose to another party. Say, for example, the third party is EPF. So EPF say, you help me to complete, then I will buy over the whole development. Then I buy over already, I can collect the rental forever. This is what we call stream of income. Because we know that, like let's say you see Sunway Pyramid, Sunway Velocity, they are going to stand there very, very long time. So actually their income seriously can collect forever. Until I die already, provided the company work well, the Sunway Pyramid, Sunway Velocity is still there. So that's why the income is actually in perpetuity. So some owner, they don't intend to keep it. They will dispose to third party, say for example EPF. Then EPF will going to collect the income, the stream of income forever. So in that case, when EPF want to take over the whole development, the EPF need to pay disposal cost. EPF need to pay, right here, EPF need to pay disposal cost, or another term we also call purchaser cost. Two terms are the same. Disposal cost, purchaser cost, they are the same. EPF would have to pay if they want to buy over the whole Sunway Pyramid. So how to calculate is the formula, jot down, the disposal cost equivalent to GDV minus GDV divided 1 plus I. The I here referring to percentage, but you make it in decimal. So let's say if the percentage is 2.75, let's say the percentage is 2.75%, the I should be 0.0275. Okay, I repeat again. Disposal cost, the formula is GDV minus GDV divided 1 plus I. So the I here is the percentage expressed in decimal place. So let's say if your percentage is 2.75, then the I should be 0.0275. Okay, so this is the second formula. Second, okay, go back. So here you will see that we're assuming 2%, 2.75% of NDV. It's not GDV. If 2.75 GDV means this value, you times 2.75. but we are assuming in another way round is 2% of NDV. So that's why you need to work backward. You use a GDV to calculate the disposal cost. Okay, you shouldn't use this GDV directly times 2.75. It's wrong. So that's why you have to use the formula I give you just now. So you calculated already, right? So this is the disposal cost, purchaser cost that going to pay by the EPF. Okay, what are the costs incurred? The cost incurred, the disposal cost incurred are like such as stamp duty, legal fee, agent fee, for example. So all this actually part under the disposal cost. So the disposal cost actually referring to stamp duty, tax lah, agent fee lah, legal fee, lawyer fee, because they need to prepare the legal document to transfer the whole property to EPF. So all this actually they need to pay. Okay, so after that, they need to minus from the GDP minus the disposal cost, you get the NDV. So first part done for commercial property. So this is commercial property. Now I'm going back to residential. If you are residential, if you are pure residential only, then you should calculate based on selling price, not yield, not rental. Okay, repeat again because this one many students also always make mistake. That's why I repeat again. If you are doing residential property, you should use selling price. Selling price is a very important information that you need to show in the executive summary. Okay, to let the client know what is the selling price. Okay, so for residential, we use selling price. We won't use yield. We won't use rental because normally residential, we won't rent out. We always sell condo lah, service apartment lah, we sell, isn't it? So that's why the income should be based on selling price. So say for example, my property, I got two type. First type is single story. Second type is double story. So single story, double story, I allocate 10 unit lah. So the built-up area, single story 1,000 square feet, double story 2,005 square feet. So the selling price per square feet is 150 for single, 200 for double. So selling price per unit, which means that I use the built-up area times my selling price. So you times up, and you get this one. This is the single story per unit. So let's say if anyone you want to buy my single story, you need to pay 150,000. If you want to buy double story, you use this one times this one, then you have to pay 500,000. This is per unit. Okay, this is per unit. So now I got 10 unit 10 So you use 10 times per unit, you get 1.5 million the GDV for single story, and then you get 5 million for double story. So you total up everything, this will be your GDV. Okay, total up A and B, this will be your GDV. That's it, done. So for residential, it's very, very straightforward. You only calculate GDV. You don't have NDV because unlikely at the end you want to dispose to third party lah. Unless you want, so you can assume. It actually depends on the developer whether they want to dispose to any third party or not. Okay, they might or they might not. If they want to dispose, then they have to calculate the NDV. If they don't want, they keep it, then they have to calculate the GDV only lah. Okay, so for residential, it's very, very straightforward. You just calculate selling price. No need include any yield. No need include any rental. Then you will get your GDV. So that is the residential part. Okay, so residential, clear or not? If you are clear, you type OK. Are you clear for residential? Okay, Okay, now I go to Charles ask mix, right? Okay, let's say mixed use residential. So let's say mixed use residential. Let's say you assume you have one is condo. Okay. Second, you have let's say you have retail. So in your Excel, one Excel sheet. Okay. Under the revenue, you have two parts. Under the revenue, you need to calculate two parts. First part, you calculate the selling price for the condo. Second part, you use the yield and also the rental to calculate the GDV for retail. So let's say the condo, you get this one. You calculate already, you get this one, 6.5. So here you 6.5 million. So you calculate here, calculate, then you get this one, 6.5. Then another part is you have retail. So retail, you actually collect rental, you assume you collect forever, you based on yield. So you also calculate, then you want, after that you have one is, let's say it's this one, 17. Okay, so you put here 17 million. So you have A, you have B, you sum up in total become your GDV. So this is what we call sum you sum up 23.5 million. This is your total GDV. So basically for mixed use residential, you need to calculate two parts in one Excel sheet. In one Excel sheet, because I have students, they calculate condo in one Excel. Then they calculate retail in another Excel. So end up here got two land costs A, land cost B. So it's wrong. You have to combine these two under one Excel sheet. At the revenue part, you calculate the condo, everything, you get 6.5. Then second part, you calculate the retail, everything, repeat, that's what I mentioned just now, you get 17,000, right? You sum up these 1 and 2, this will be your total GDV that you are going to get for your mixed use residential. That's it only. Okay? Commercial, sometimes people like mixed use residential is like mix of condo and retail. Mixed use commercial is the upper part they build office space. They build office space, bottom they build retail. That is a mixed use commercial. But for the detail explanation, you actually the better way is you have to refer to the local plan. As I mentioned, KL, Selangor, okay, even Selangor can be divided into Kajang, Subang. Their local plan will be different. But generally, mixed use residential is the mix of condo and retail. Commercial is office and retail. All right. So far, clear or not for mixed use residential and mixed, if let's say anyone proposing mixed use commercial, if yes, then I have to explain. If no, then I skip. So far, any question? Are you all clear? If clear, just type okay. All right. So if really you feel not so confident, you feel that you do not so sure whether you do correct or not, actually you can always PM me. You can show me your Excel, then to double confirm whether you presented in a correct way or not. Okay, you are free to ask. If you don't ask, then it's your loss already So when you submit, I mark that is wrong, then I have to deduct your mark. So right now, what I can help you is, if you are still in doubt, not so sure, you can send me and ask me. Okay? All right. So that is a rental, and also the yield. So as I told you, yield is actually applied for commercial property, office, retail, and leisure only. So for your residential, please do not use any yield. Okay? Okay. Guanjing. As I say, you have to make assumption in your assignment. are you intended to dispose to third party or not? If yes, then you calculate NDV. If no, you remain GDV. So that's why the report is very important. You have to make assumption whether at the end of the day, do you want to dispose to other third party or not? If yes, then you calculate the disposal cost. If no, then you just remain under the GDV. That's it. Okay. Feel, as I say in the assignment requirement, feel free to make any assumption. Okay. All right. So that is the disposal cost. Okay. So any question you can post in the meeting chat. If no, then we will break for 10 minutes. Then we come back at 9:07 08. Okay. Remember to scan your attendance. Okay, see you later. All right, I have a question from NG. Okay, wait. NG asks residential. NG, your question is pure residential only. NG, your proposed development is pure residential or mixed use residential. Okay, it's pure. NG, make things simple. Normally for residential building, pure, they won't dispose to third party. Normally, third party, the long-term funder, they would prefer commercial property because stream of income. So for residential, they won't dispose. So for your case, you just calculate GDV only. Is that clear, Angie? You just calculate GDV only. Because for pure residential, normally won't dispose to third party. Because third party only interested in commercial property because they can collect stream of income. Okay? All right, I will move on. Okay, after settle the income part, now we are going to talk about costing part. So costing part, the first major big cost in commitment will be land cost. Okay, so under the land cost, we have a few items. The first one is a rent price. So you have to figure out what is the land cost of that proposed development. Okay, plus this is what we call ABC. ABC is what we call site acquisition fee. Site acquisition fee. So site acquisition fee or site acquisition cost is actually referring to stamp duty, because when you purchase the land for another landowner, you need to pay stamp duty. Or maybe you get agent, you ask agent to find a good piece of land for you, so you need to pay the agent fee. So that is under agent acquisition fee. So and then under the legal fee on acquisition, that is actually referring to the lawyer fee and also the legal document fee. So for this one, you can actually assume 1% of land cost. So 1% of land cost will be 29,000. Okay, similarly, you can assume. So under the land cost, basically is the land price plus all the site acquisition fee. So you sum up, this will be your total cost, including the site acquisition fee. All right, then move on is the construction cost. So construction cost, say for example, your site need to do site clearance and preparation costs and preparation work. So you allocate one sum for this part. And then under the building cost, as I told you just now, building cost, you need to use gross area. Can you see here? Gross area, 4598 square meter. So remember, for income, you use net area. For building cost, you use gross area times 1421 per square meter. Say for example, you assume the construction cost per meter square is 1421. So the total building cost will be around 6.5 million. Then you also allocate some external work, another 750,000. So you sum up all these, this will be your total construction cost. Okay, so a very good sources to get your construction cost is the handbook, published construction cost handbook. So in Malaysia, one of the famous party that always publish the latest construction cost handbook is the Arcadis. So you can click this link to get the cost handbook. So under the cost handbook, you can actually get the cost. So actually, they already separate the building cost for you for terrace houses, for office. Okay, so you can actually get the cost indicator here to do your estimate. Okay, so let's say if you have car park, you can also include the car park cost here. So these cost handbook are actually quite good. You can always keep a copy for yourself, especially later on when you graduate and work in the industry. this is actually a very good source of the information when you want to do some estimate. Okay. And for, let's say for selling price, for rental, for yield, right? You can always go for this website. Under here got one link you can click. So this link actually prepared by HProp. So under this website, right, you can get the rental, you can get the selling price, you can get the yield for different area. Major is actually in KL, Selangor, Johor, and Penang. So say for example, I use KL as example. So I click KL. So under the KL, I use Cheras as one of the example. So when you click Cheras, you can see it will tell you the sales price, selling price at Cheras. So the lowest is actually around 200,000. So the medium price will be around 387,000. The highest price will be around 542,000. So actually this is serve as a very good information for you. So under this part, you can actually find out the rental and the selling price in Cheras for landed and also non-landed. So that's why their information actually quite comprehensive because they already divided for you. So say for example, I click non-landed. So non-landed, you can see that, say for example, 3-bedroom. The selling price is actually average 433,000, and the rental, monthly rental 1,621. Okay, they even calculate the yield for you already. So the rental yield is actually 4.48%. So if you let's say this information is not available, okay, you can always use the formula that I taught you just now. The yield is always equivalent to annual income, means the rental divided by the property price. So in this case, the monthly rental is 1,621. Okay, this is monthly but then the formula is annual. So you times 12. 1 year got 12 months. Divided by property price, this one, 4337540. So can anyone help me or not? Take out your calculator, calculate this one for me. What is the answer here? Anyone? What is the answer here? Can anyone calculate for me? Take out your calculator. What is the answer at the end? Okay, remember after that times 100%. Times 100%. So thank you, Tenping. So the answer should be similar to this one, isn't it? 4.48%. So even though if the yield is not available, you can always use a simple calculation. You get the rental times 12 months divided by the property price. Then you can get the yield yourself already. Okay, so if you cannot get 4.48, you go and ask the age because this is prepared by the age, not prepared by me. But generally, that is a formula of yield. Just in case if this information is not available, you're still able to calculate the yield. So I don't think that is a problem for you to get the yield lah. Okay. So under this website, you can also see some past transaction, the latest transaction. So you can get the median price per square feet. You can get the median price. Actually, it's another very good source of information for you later on when you graduate. You know where to get the selling price, the rental, and also the yield. Okay, I hope this one could be very helpful for you lah. All right. And another, let's say you don't want to go the HProp, you can also go to iProperty lah, Property Guru lah, or any other property website. So let's say if you are the commercial property. So commercial property, let's say this one in KL. So the monthly rental is 11,000. 11,000. So the area, the square feet, the area, the built up area is 2,715. So actually, you can also use this one divided by this one. You can get the price. The rental is actually approximate RM4 per square feet. So if your property nearby this area, KL, you can use this as one of your information to input the rental. So I don't think that is also any problem for you lah. Okay. And another good source of information, BCISM, okay, actually divided by CIDB and also ISM. So every year they will publish the cost handbook. So you can get the latest copy at this website. You can download for free. So from this website, you can also get some cost indicator for some of the construction costs. That will be quite useful for you to build up the construction costs. Okay. And of course, another website is QS Online. So under this platform, you can also get some costs for your material, your labor, plant and equipment, and also some of the major material costs like rebar. Okay. And another database will be by N3C. So N3C is the National Construction Cost Center, so developed by CIDB. So for this one, right, previously they are free. You can actually access for free lah. Most of the information, the build-up rate, the material cost, the labor cost, you can actually download for free. But then right now, because data is money, data is a gold, it's a new source of the gold material. So that's why right now, you have to register the account. If you want to get free, you can only access certain limit of the material. Maybe you can just accept 5 material. So when you pay the membership price, let's say per month, you can access more material. Okay, so that is another platform for you. Later on when you graduate, I hope you know where to get the information. Okay. And okay, after that, so you can, this building cost is actually you calculated from the construction cost. So you bring forward here. So the next one is you have to calculate the professional fee. So just assume for this project, you are going to hire architect lah, engineer, structural engineer, QS, M&E, and project manager. So for this one, right, I hope you can build up. I hope you can build up the skill of fee, the professional fee in proper, rather than in you estimate based on 1% only. So I hope you can build up in detail. So say for example, for architect, so you can get the architect scale of fee, scale of minimum fee from their website. So for architect scale of fee, they actually divided, it depends on the category of the work. So it can be divided into category 1, 2, and 3. So different category will charge different scale of fee. So say for example, you are in category 2. So your work is under category 2. And your total construction cost is, let's say, 5 million under here. Say, for example, your total construction cost is 5 million. So you have to use this formula to calculate the professional fee. So you just use 257,500 plus 5.5% times cost means the construction cost, the 5 million, minus the 4 million. Then you times 5.5% plus 257,000. So that should be then you should be able to get your professional fee. So I have one requirement only. So for this one, I hope you can calculate the fee properly rather than you just input 1% only. Okay. So and for your information, even for the fee, professional fee, when we pay to the consultant, we don't pay one lump sum first. We pay based on the progress of the work. So you can see up to the schematic design stage, we pay 15%. When the design completed, another 30%. After the contract settled, 25%. During the construction stage, another 25%. So at the end of the day, you pay 5%. So we won't pay the fee one shot at the beginning. We pay the professional fee to the consultant stage by stage. Okay, so I hope you get this thing clear, because later on I'm going to explain some of the theory. Okay, and for other skill or fee like QS or engineer, you can actually get these from you can actually go to this website to get the skill or fee. Okay, all right. After that, after you add up building cost and professional fee, you allow contingency. So you know that contingency is you allocate certain percentage from the construction cost. So normally this one is to cover unforeseen event, to cover unexpected costs in the future. Because at the very beginning, as I mentioned, you do not have any drawing. So definitely your cost should not be able to very accurate. So that's why sometimes the QS will allocate contingency fee to cover unforeseen event during the future. This is due to the fact that information are very limited at the beginning of the stage. So to avoid cost overrun in the future, they will allocate contingency fee. So say for example, you can assume 5% or 1% of the construction cost. Okay, then you add up. This will be your building cost, professional fee, and also the contingency fee. Okay, then this one you carry forward. You carry forward here. Then the next one will be other costs. So under the other costs, right, it depends on the project itself. So as I told you just now, case by case basis. It depends on the nature of the project. So different project will have different component. So under the other cost, very common we have is site investigation. Site investigation is the fee to cover, like let's say the client asks the consultant to conduct soil investigation or ground investigation, or maybe the land already contaminated. So they ask a consultant to do the rectification. So here you need to allocate one sum of the money to cover the site investigation. Then planning fee is actually sometime when you kickstart the project, you need to pay the planning application fee. You need to submit to the local authority to get their approval, to get their consent. So that is actually under the planning fee. So if let's say you want to change the land use from agriculture to let's say mixed use, then you need to pay the planning fee and also the conversion fee. So this one is actually part under the planning fee. Building regulation is actually you pay the planning fee and also the permission fee to the building control department, such as BOMBA, TMB, Shabas, IWK. So when you kickstart the development, you need water and electricity ma. So that's why you need to get the permission, approval from all these building control department. Okay. Bank legal professional fee is of course when you ask the bank to help to provide their services, the bank will charge professional fee. Even consultant like QS, okay, architect, they also charge consultant fee. So the bank also will charge professional fee. So let's say just assume 0.5% of the NDV. Bank arrangement fee is the bank will arrange the finance for you, which means that the bank will help you to set up a loan account to arrange a proper finance for your proposed development. So this is under the bank arrangement fee. Last but not least is the developer legal fee. So when they transfer or when they kickstart any proposed development, they need to have the legal document. So this is actually part under the legal fee, under the stamp duty, the legal document fee. Okay, so this is part under other costs. So you sum up everything here plus this one, then you will end up this one. So this is under building cost, professional fee, contingency fee, and other costs. Okay, then you carry forward to next slide. So next slide, this is the cost that you bring forward from the previous. Then the next one will be funding cost. Okay, funding cost, a little bit of complicated, okay? Funding cost divided into 3 stages. 1, 2, 3. The first one is for the land itself. The second one is for the building period, the construction period. The last one is for the void period. Okay, so in order for you to calculate these 3 stages, you need to understand the development timeline first. Okay, so site acquisition is during this period we call lead-in period. So lead-in period is the period for the developer to get planning consent, to get the land, to prepare the drawing and so on. So basically this is what we call lead-in period, to get planning permission, to negotiate with the landowner, to set up the land, to buy the piece of land. So this is what we call lead-in period. So when everything settled already, you will kickstart your construction period. So this is the second one. So this is the first one. Okay, then last but not least, when the construction completed, some developer might experience void period. So void period is what we call rent-free period. Because when the building completed, sometimes developer might not able to sell all unit, rent out all unit. So during this period, developer might experience void period, means do not have any income. Maybe they completed already, say for example, very extreme, nobody want to buy, or maybe nobody want to rent. So that is a possibility the developer might experience void period, which is what we call rent-free period. So during this period, because of no income, the developer also need to seek some funding to cover. Okay, again, I repeat again. After the construction completed, there is a possibility the developer might not able to rent out all unit, or rent out or sell all unit. So there is a period the developer might experience void period, which is what we call rent-free period. So to cover all these rent-free period, void period, developers sometimes tend to seek for funding to cover this void period until everything development let and fully sold. So your total development period will be your lead-in plus the construction period plus the void period. So which means that 6 plus 12 plus 9. So equivalent to 27 months. Okay, total development period equivalent to lead-in plus the construction plus the void period. So total 27 months. Okay, so when you plot this total development period in a graph, okay, when you plot it in a graph, you will notice that the cost actually incurred is a S curve. It's a S curve. Can you see? It's a S curve. So during the lead-in period is here. This is the construction period. Then here is the lead-in period. So the cost incurred actually is in a S curve. Okay, so how we calculate the interest is, okay, this one. How we calculate the interest is, as I told you, divided into 3 stages. First one, second one, and third one. The first one is the interest that charged on the site is the land acquisition. So when you buy that piece of land, as I mentioned, land is a very big cost commitment. Land is not cheap. So when they purchase the land, they need to get funding from the bank. So when they get funding from the bank will charge what? Interest rate. So the interest rate charged on the land start from the day one until the end, up to total development period. Okay, I repeat again. the first thing the developer need to purchase is what? Land. Land is very expensive. So they need to get funding from the bank. So when they get funding from the bank will charge interest. The interest charged on the land start from the day one until the end. So it is actually the interest actually incur throughout the total development period. That is the first one. Second one, you can see that interest on half of construction cost over construction period. So another cost that they need to get funding is to fund the construction project, to give the money to contractor. So this one, they also need to get funding from the bank. So for this part, right, the interest won't charge lump sum. The interest charge based on the work progress. Okay, I repeat again. During this period, the interest will not charge one lump sum at the beginning. The interest charge based on the work progress. If you can see that at the very beginning of the project, the cost incurred is very low. Because at the beginning, maybe you just start to do foundation, do piling. Then after that, you start to do your substructure. Then after that, you start to do your superstructure. So actually, your work is actually based on progress. So to be fair, the banker will not charge one lump sum. Say, for example, your construction work is 10 million. So your construction cost is 10 million. So they will not charge 10 million upfront. They will charge based on the progress. So say, for example, at the beginning, here maybe 2 million, 5 million, then up to here is 10 million. So you can see here is a triangle, isn't it? So that's why the construction cost need to divide by half. The interest on half of the construction cost. Why half is based on the graph, you can see is a triangle. And due to the fact that the banker will not charge the interest based on lump sum at the beginning because it based on the work progress. The money, the interest will charge based on the work progress. So at the beginning, because you didn't complete so many at the beginning, you just start to do your foundation, site clearance, piling work. So you charge 2 million only based on the interest. Then after that, in the middle, you start to have your superstructure, substructure, then it becomes 5 million. Then it continue to charge. So that's why during this part, remember, it should be divided by half. Okay, then the last part is the void period, the rent-free period. Okay, which is during this part only, the period. Okay, and once you get this concept clear, another concept you need to be clear is how we calculate the compound interest. How we calculate the compound interest. Interest can be compound annually, can be compound monthly, can be compound quarterly. So it actually depends on the bank, whether they want to compound monthly, quarterly, annually, or sometimes they compound daily, also possible. Okay, so in that case, you need to get these 3 questions correct first. Okay, first, understand the formula first. Okay, how you calculate A? What is A? A is total accrued amount, which means the principal plus interest. That is A. P is the principal. So principal means your original amount, 1,000. Okay, so here you put 1,000, no? Okay, 1,000. I'm doing the question 1 for you. Okay, 1,000. So P is the principal. Principal is the original amount, 1,000. So you times off. So 1 plus. I is what? I is the interest rate, but you change it in decimal. So 5%, we don't use 5%. You change it to decimal, become 0.05. Okay, divided by n. What is n? Here got 2n. N, they are the same. N is number of times the interest is compound per year. So which means that if the interest is compound annually, means they only compound one time. If the interest compound semi-annual, means the interest compound 2 times per year. If the interest is compound quarterly, means the interest is compound 4 times per year. If the interest compound monthly, means the interest compound 12 months per year. So the question number 1 is annually, means they only compound 1 time per year. So it's 1 year. Okay. T is what? Time period. So time period means the year, 7 here. How much will you have after 7 years? So time is 7, N is 1. Okay, so can anyone help me to calculate or not? Can anyone help me to calculate? What figure do you get at the end? Anyone can help me? Good, Galvin. 1407. Okay, this one is A ma. A is what? A is the total accrued amount, principal plus interest. Now, if I ask you, out of this money, what is the interest incurred? Is you use 1407 minus your original, your principal. So the interest you get is what? 407. Do you understand or not? A is the principal plus interest. So it's 1407. If I ask you what is the interest you are going to get, so you use the amount here minus your original investment, 1000. So you get 407, isn't it? Okay, so this is the first method. You calculate the interest. So your interest is 407. Okay, second method is, let's say you use back the same formula. Okay, you use back the same formula, exactly the same. Okay, 7, 1. I want you to add up this one, minus 1 at the end. Anyone, can you help me to calculate? Similar formula, just that at the end here, minus 1. Minus 1 here. Calculate this part first, then times 1000. I want to know what figure you get. Can anyone help me? This one very important. You have to know, then only you will know that how the interest is compound. Okay, anyone? What is the figure at the end? 407, isn't it? Okay, wait. Is it similar to this one? Wait. Is it similar to this one? So to make it shortcut, you use method number 2. Okay, minus 1 at the end, then you should be able to get the interest accrued. You can use first method, no problem. But then first method, you have to do 2 steps. You have to minus the principal. Then you get 407. Second step is much more easier. That's why you calculate, you need to minus 1 at the end is because you want to calculate straight away what is the interest you get. Okay, so now your turn. Try second. Can anyone tell me the second or not? What is the A and what is the interest? Try question 3, question 2 and question 3. Okay, try. Anyone can help me or not calculate question 2? We start question 2 first. Original 2000, interest 12%, compound monthly. How much would you have after 5 years? Can anyone help me? What would you get for A? So early, time to practice your calculator skill. What is the figure that you're going to get at the end? Yes, very good. Polling, very fast. 3,3633.39. That is A ma. But if the question asks you I, what is the interest that incur? You minus 2,000. Yes. Okay. This is the method number 1. Okay. Later on, you try yourself. You use minus 1 at the end. Definitely, you will get this one. Okay. So that is the purpose why we need to minus 1 at the end. So this is what we say compound money. So compound money, which means that your interest compound 12 times per year. Okay, that is number 2. Okay, now try number 3. Okay, try number 3. 3,000, 8% interest, compound quarterly. How much would you have after 3 years? Okay, you can try question number 3. Anyone? So out of 184 students, okay, luckily Zhenping also help. Okay, good. 3804.7. So that is A ma. So for you to calculate the I, you need to minus the original principal, 3,000. So you will get this one. So your job, your homework, I give you homework for today. Later you try minus 1. Can you straight away get this one? Definitely cannot. Okay, that's why for this assignment, why you need to minus 1 at the end is because you need to calculate the interest that you are going to pay. So that's why here, if you see this slide, why minus 1 at the end? That is because we straight away use method number 2 to calculate the interest that you are going to pay. So in this question, we say that the interest is 8.25% to be compounded monthly. For your assignment, you also assume compounded monthly. I repeat again, your assignment also please assume compounded monthly. I give you different scenario. Just hope that later on when you graduate later, when you face different type of the compounded, either monthly yearly or daily, you know how to calculate. But for this assignment, please assume compounded monthly. So for stage 1, okay, you use the land cost plus all the site acquisition fee times 1 plus I is the percentage 0.0825 divide by 12 because it's compounded monthly, and is the total development period. You use the total development period 27 minus 1, then you get interest A. Stage 2, as I told you, we won't charge interest one lump sum at the beginning. We charge the interest based on the work progress. That's why when you plot the construction work progress, it's actually in a S curve, in a triangle curve. That's why you need to divide by 2 times. Here everything same. The end here we use construction period. Okay, so you get item number B. Last stage is for the void period. So for void period, a little bit of different. You use the construction cost, the full amount plus, don't only divide by 2. This one no only divide by 2 because here stage 3 already completed everything. So you use the construction cost plus B. The B here carry forward to this stage. Why carry forward? Because once the building completed, the interest charge will accumulate, will roll to the next stage. Okay, interest will accumulate and roll to the next stage. Okay, so that's why here you need to plus the B. Okay, here everything remain the same, just that the end you use void period. Okay, so this one take time to digest. So that is the calculation. 27 is the total period. 12 months is for the construction period. This will be the void period. So for profit method, we calculate the interest in 1, 2, 3. Okay, later on, residual method will be different a bit. All right, so for profit method, calculate 3 stages. Okay, then after that, after you add on the interest, after you add on the funding, okay, the last but not least is the letting and sales fee. Okay, listen carefully, this part. Letting and sales fee is because, of course, to promote the development, they need to ask the agent, agent to help to sell the unit, to rent out the unit. Of course, agent do not do things for free. Agent will charge commission, correct or not? So that's why we assume agent charge 50% based on the ERV, estimated rental value, based on the rental income. Okay, so 15% of ERV. So this is the cost. Promotion is, let's say the developer want to promote during the TV, use the TV, radio, or they want to build a billboard, or maybe they want to advertise as social media, FB or Instagram, they need to pay promotion fee. So say for example, another 95,000. So this is under letting and sales fee. Okay, this one, developer sales fee is applied when you intended to dispose to third party. At the beginning, it's called purchaser cost. Purchaser cost paid by buyer, EPF. Still remember or not? Just now I say, it's what already? Disposal cost. The purchaser cost paid by the third party, EPF. Okay, this one, developer sales fee is, let's say if the developer intended to sell to EPF, developer also need to pay. This one paid by developer. Just now at the beginning, paid by EPF. So we assume 1.5 of NDV. If you don't intended to dispose to third party, this one you ignore. I repeat again, developer sales fee is if you assume you want to develop and sell to EPF, developer need to pay the sales fee. Because of the stamp duty, legal fee, they also need to pay, not only the buyer. So we assume 1.5%. But if you decided not to dispose to third party, then you forget about this one. You only have A and B. Okay, so you sum up everything, then this one, you add up together. A plus B, you get this one. All right, this one, carry forward to the next slide. Okay, for some of the stamp duty, lawyer fee, agent fee, right, you can go to this global property guide to get the percentage. Okay, this is one of the platforms that I can help you, but of course you can get from other online platform if you manage to find out. But if no, maybe you can go to this platform to have a look, global property guide, to see what is the stamp duty have to charge, okay, the agent fee, and also some of the fee here. Okay, so I hope it is helpful for you. All right, last but not least, okay, here this part, this is the revenue that you calculate at the beginning. This is the land cost. This is the other cost like building professional fee funding letting and sales fee. So you add up A and B, it becomes this one. This is what we call TDC, total development cost, TDC. So in order to calculate profit, you use the revenue minus the cost. Straightforward, isn't it? Then you get what? Profit. Oh. So the profit here is 2.9 million. This is expressed in RM. Then, if you want to express in percentage, say for example, as I told you, you can calculate based on profit on cost. Profit on cost is you use the profit 2,939,539, okay, divided by the cost 137,364 times 100. Then you get this one. This is what we call profit on cost. So how to calculate profit on cost? You use the profit divided by the TDC. This is the way we express profit on cost. This is the method number 1. Method number 2 is profit on revenue. So you can calculate profit based on GDV, based on NDV, also can. So for this part, you use the profit 2,939,539 divided by your, let's say I use NDV, this one here, 16639,903 times 100%. So you will get another percentage here. This is profit on revenue. So as I mentioned at the beginning, there are a few methods to express the profit. It can be profit on cost, profit on GDV, profit on NDV. There is no right or wrong method. It depends on the company target and their investment requirement. Some, they prefer profit on cost. Some, they prefer profit on revenue. Some even calculated the both method also can. So there is no right or wrong. It depends whether which one you would prefer to express on it. Okay, for your assignment, up to you. But you have to let me know, are you calculate profit on cost or are you calculate profit on revenue? So you have to state it clearly lah. Either profit on revenue, either profit on cost. The formula will be a little bit of the different. Okay, so that is the end of the profit method. Okay, so any questions so far? Any question? Before we go for a short break. All right, come back after 10 minutes, 10:05. All right, we'll see you later. Okay, welcome back. All right, so that is the end of the profit method. So now I'm going to talk about residual method. So for residual method, because you need to get the land cost at the end, so the formula still the same. You use the revenue minus all the costs, including the profit. So similarly, revenue still the same. You calculate your revenue, but under the cost, right? No land cost. You no need to calculate land cost already because residual method require you to calculate the land cost. So definitely this part you can ignore. So under the funding cost, you have the land finance cost, the stage number 1, you also remove. So these are the some major changes involved in the residual method. Okay, so for this part, for the income part, okay, from the for the income part, revenue part, same as profit method. So same, no change. So I'm not going to repeat lah. So this one, the way of calculation still remain the same as the profit method. Then under the costing part, no more land cost. So straight away you calculate the construction cost. So the way of the calculation, same, remain unchanged, same lah. Okay, then next one, contingency fee. No, it's professional fee first. Professional fee also same, no change. The way of the calculation remain the same. Okay, then next one is the contingency fee, also summer, same, no change. Okay, move on to the next one is other costs, also summer, same, no change, same to the profit method. Then the only changes is funding cost. This one, okay, as I mentioned, residual method, you calculated 3 stages. So the first one is the land, second one is the building, last one is the void period. So for residual method, you only calculate 2, building only and void period only. The land one, please ignore. So only stage 2 and stage 3. No need calculate 1. So this is the changes, first changes. Okay, under the funding cost, you only calculate 2. The way of calculation remain unchanged, still the same. Just that you omit the first one. Straight away calculate the second and the third stage. Okay. Then the next one, this one also the same, remain unchanged, similar to profit method. Okay, so come to here a little bit of changes already. Okay, come to here. After you calculate all the costing, okay, your building cost, professional fee, other costs, funding, letting and sales fee, you carry this figure to the next slide. It's a 10 million, isn't it? Okay, then under here, start to have a changes already. I always use this one as for you to remember. 1 plus 3 minus. Okay, you need to have 1 plus 3 minus. The first plus is you plus your profit, predetermined profit. As I mentioned just now, for your residual method, you need to have one predetermined level of return. So say for example, for this example, I assume I want to get 20% of the profit. So which means that for this cost, I want to get 20%. So you times 20%. If you want to use 30%, then here you put 30%. So times 20%, this is a cost. This is a profit that you want to earn. Then you add up everything together. This is the total. All right. A plus B equals to total. This one, you need to assume. So either 20 or 30 or you want other figure also can. But this one, you need to input, as I mentioned, predetermined level of return. Then you add up already. This is a first plus. Okay, after that, bring forward this figure to the next slide. Okay, This is the figure that you bring forward just now, the total cost. This is the income that you calculate at the beginning. This is the cost that you calculate just now. So you use the revenue minus the cost. This will be your balance. Okay, this will be your surplus. These are 16 is from the NDV. This 12 is from the previous slide, which is this one. So you bring forward here, minus already, right? This will be your balance. This balance is not the land cost yet. You need to minus site acquisition fee. You need to minus profit on the land cost. You need to minus interest on the land cost. Then only you get the pure land cost. I repeat again. This balance 4.4 is not the pure land cost. You need to minus the profit on the land cost, the interest, and also site acquisition fee. Then only you get the residual land cost. This is what we say 3 minus. Okay, so first minus is minus profit on the land cost. Profit on the land cost so you see the next slide. Okay, 1 plus settle. First minus is minus developer profit on that piece of land. So you use the previous figure 4.4, which is this one, okay? Minus 4.4 divided 1 plus I. I here is the predetermined level of return. So 20%, no? But you express in I, in decimal. Okay, so you can use this formula to work backward. Then you can get the figure is 748550. So you bring that to this one. This is the first minus. So you minus already, you get this figure. This figure, the next one, the second minus is minus on the interest part. Okay, the interest part a bit complicated. I break it down into two parts. The first part is you calculate the interest first. Okay, you use here you do not have minus 1 because you work backward. So you use 1 divided 1 plus I. The I is the interest rate, 8.25%, 8.25% divided by 12. N is the total development period. Here will be total development period. Okay, so this is the factor. So I will put it sideways here. Okay, then I will use the previous figure. 3.7 is the previous figure, this one. Okay, minus 3.7 times this factor. Then you'll be able to get this one. So for this one, I break down into two parts so they're easier to calculate. Okay, so this one, you input back in this figure. This is the interest that you're going to minus. So you minus already. The last part is you need to minus the site acquisition fee. So say, for example, I allocate 2.5%. So for last part, last minus, you use the previous figure minus the previous figure divided 1 plus I. The I here will be the site acquisition percentage. So this will be the site acquisition cost that you're going to pay later. So that's why you need to minus it first. That is a third minus. Okay, so at the end of the day, the pure land cost will be 3 million. This 3 million is the basic that you use it to negotiate with the landowner. We won't use 4.4. 4.4 is included profit, the interest, and also the site acquisition. So you cannot use this one. You should actually minus everything out to get the pure site land cost, which is the 3 million. Then this 3 million will be your residual balance at the end after minus all the profit, interest, and site acquisition cost. So this part will be a little bit of confused. So you can follow this table to calculate your residual land cost. Okay? All right. So that's all for residual method. So now a little bit of theory. Okay, the conventional method is actually referring to profit and residue method. Profit method, residue method. So the conventional method actually has two weaknesses. The weaknesses is actually first one, not flexible to handle the timing when the expenditure, when the revenue actually occur. Because when you prepare profit method, when you prepare residue method, the format is like this. Can you see? This is a format. When you prepare your residue method or even profit method, you should prepare in this format. So in this format, maybe I ask you, in which month you need to pay professional fee? In which month you need to pay funding fee? In which month you need to pay interest? You won't have any idea, isn't it? Because from this format, you cannot see when the expenditure you're going to spend, when the revenue is going to get. So that's why that is a meaning, not flexible. You will not know when is the timing you get expenditure, you get revenue, and also you spend the cost. So because of that, the calculation of the interest rate not so accurate because every month the cost and the revenue will be different. The interest rate charge also will be different. But because you use this format, the interest rate charge will be slightly inaccurate. Okay? That is the first thing. First weaknesses. Second weaknesses, rely on single figure best estimate. Hide the uncertainty and assumption that lie behind the calculation. So just now, the rental. The rental, we assume 150 per annum, meter square per annum. You only use one figure, 150 to input in your Excel. How sure are you? How sure are you this 150 can remain in the future? It could be up, it could be down. So that's why here, you see that you only have 3.5%, 8%, 2%, even the cost 700. How sure are you this 700 will not be changed in the future? So that's why that is a limitation. We only use one figure, which we deem that is the best to do your estimate. It actually consists of many uncertainty in the future. So that's why it's not so good because we only use one figure. Okay, that are the two weaknesses by using the conventional method. Okay, then the best method will be the cash flow method. The problem of the conventional method can be overcome by using cash flow method because cash flow method allows you to see the flow of the expenditure and the revenue to be spread over the period of the property development. Property development is not one day. It could be last a few years. So throughout 27 months, by using cash flow method, you can see when is the time you get money, when is the time you need to pay. So the in out you can see more clearly on the cash flow appraiser. So actually this method presented a more realistic and more accurate cost and income, again different timeline, just like this slide. So this is what we say cash flow method. So you can see that I actually break it down into different month up to 27 months. So based on this figure, you can see that different month we will have we need to pay different costing. So even just now I told you architect do you pay architect lump sum at the beginning? No, we pay professional fee by what? Stages. So that's why by using cash flow method, you will see that, oh, month 2, we pay this amount. Month 4, we pay this amount. So 6, 7, 8. So by doing that, you actually can see it more realistic. It allows the spending more accurate over the timeline. So by doing that, the interest rate here you can calculate more accurate because interest will charge on the cost. So rather than you divide it into stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, that 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 actually give you an indicator only. Indicator at the beginning. What are the funding costs that you need to be incurred? But to survive throughout the development period, it would be better for the developer to convert it into a cash flow method so that they will know that which month they need to pay more cost, which month they will have income. So that's why this is what we say more realistic presentation. Okay? Okay, what are the advantages of this method? Because it allows more clearly demonstrate in relation to cash inflow throughout the development period. Because as I told you, development period will not last 1 day or 1 month. It can be a few years. So that's why a cash flow method will be give a more realistic presentation. Okay, and this cash flow method will be very, very useful for the project, especially those phase industrial unit, retail, residential. Because right now, very common, they will develop project in phase. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Why they don't want to develop all phase together? Because they also scared later on cannot sell, or they also cannot have money, can have sufficient money to build all this. So that's why they're divided into phase 1. So phase 1, they can actually get the revenue already, committed all the costs already. When got surplus, then they will continue stage 2. So how to know that do we have sufficient surplus at the end of the day? That's why cash flow method is a very good method to know this answer. Okay, and this one also very useful for those very, very big project, mixed use project. Sometimes developer they will prefer mixed use project. Mixed use is not mixed use residential or commercial. It's a big development that consists of retail, shop lot, office, and also condo. So actually, this is classified under a big project. So they will take a certain number of years to complete and will develop in phases also. So that's why prepare cash flow method allow the developer to see whether they got sufficient money to continue or not for the phase 2. So that's why cash flow method will be more realistic lah. All right. So, and by using cash flow method, right, they can adjust the interest rate and also the taxes more easily. As I told you, OPR, interest rate, every 3 months they will have meeting. Every 3 months they will decide whether they want to increase OPR or decrease OPR or not. So increase OPR, decrease OPR will affect the cost of borrowing. So that's why by using cash flow method, the developer can adjust the interest rate and also the tax because government changes, government authority change, different plan come out, they will change the stamp duty, they will change the taxes charge, the service tax. So that's why by using cash flow method, it will be more easier for them to do the changes rather than you use a conventional profit method and also the residue method. Okay. All right. So that's all for this chapter. The key takeaway only one. So what is the purpose to conduct this development appraisal? So the feasibility study actually designed to help to answer one question only. Not to say one question, answer many questions, but the main question is to determine, is this project worth developing? How much profit will be generated at the end? What is the rate of return? So that is the big question that the client always asks the QS. What is the level of this return? Okay, so that's all. Do you have any question? So I have one question from Hong Lam. Hong Lam asked me to explain mixed use commercial later. Are you asking the calculation part, Hong Lam? Are you asking calculation? How to calculate the revenue part for mixed use commercial, Hong Lam? Okay, so We assume, let's say, mixed use. Okay, wait, let me full screen first. Okay, let's say misuse commercial. Let's say you want to mix office plus retail. So under the revenue part, you still divided into two part. First part, you calculate the office office space first. Okay. Second part, you calculate the retail lot. So under the office space, you still use the rental. You calculate the ERV. You still calculate the ERV, then you still use the yield, the YP in perpetuity, to assume that you can collect the rental forever. Then by using that, you will have one GDV already. A. Here, calculate. So you have A for office. Similarly, for retail, you still use rental to calculate because we assume you rent it out. You calculate, you get the ERV, then you have one figure here. Then you still assume that you can collect the rental forever. So you calculate the yield. Here you times. Okay, then you have another one called GDV. So this is B. Okay, so you sum up A and B. That will be your total GDV for office and retail. Total up A plus B. If you assume later on you want to dispose to third party, then you minus disposal cost. Okay, say for example here, disposal cost. Then finally, you will get your NDV, another figure C. Is that clear, Hong Lam? Hong Lam, clear or not? Can I apply NDV in A or B only? Normally, when you dispose to third party, you won't dispose part by part. Normally, you dispose the whole thing to third party. You won't dispose part by part. That is a characteristic of divisible and indivisible. But remember or not, Hong Nam. So to make things simple, at the very beginning, we assume that everything you dispose to the third party. So you don't divide into two, A and B. Okay. The price of a land, just use the residual method. I don't understand. What do you mean? The price of the land, just use the residual method. Pauline, I don't understand your question. Hong Lam, okay. So you have to remember, first estimate, first appraiser, normally we do not have a sufficient information. So that's why don't make things complicated. Assuming everything, the officer retail, you dispose to third party. You don't say like, A, I want to keep, B, I want to dispose. To give a very explicit, very clear figure to the client, it would be better that you actually assume everything you dispose to third party. Okay? The price of the land, I don't understand. Just use the residual method. If Pauline, are you asking residual method? Are you asking assignment residual method, how to calculate the price of the land? Which method are you asking? Profit method or residual method? Okay, I assume you ask assignment. Okay, I assume you ask assignment. So in order to get the piece of the land, the cost, you use residual method to calculate the cost. Okay, for your assignment is the residual method. So you use that method to calculate what is the land price. What is the land price? So in your executive summary, very important that you have to tell me what is the residual land cost that you are going to offer to the client, to offer to the landowner. That is the information that I want to know. Okay. And do you have any other question? Any more question? So please remember the appraisal, you need to prepare in Excel. So, and then later on, you need to submit the Excel. I will check the Excel. So in the report, please do not screenshot your Excel and then paste in the Microsoft report. Please do not do that. Very not proper, very improper presentation. You don't screenshot. You just type up the key information in the table to tell me what is the land cost, what is the GTV, selling price, rental lah, professional fee. Some of the key information you can tabulate nicely in the table. Then you can actually explain a little bit. Tell your client, okay? Tell your client what are the costs that incur, how much profit that are going to generate it, what is the residual land cost that we can offer and negotiate with the landowner. So please do not screenshot everything. Yes, just assume I am the client. Your client today say I don't want what a theory. Please do not give me many theory. I teach you theory, now you want to teach me back, man. Okay? Don't write too many theory. You can have a little bit of the introduction, explanation, but please do not give me one paragraph or one page of the theory. Limit the theory part. Just treat me as a client. Your client time is very limited. So how are you going to present the information in a fast way so that when your client read the report, oh, I know this proposal is residential. This proposal selling price. Okay. One common mistake student always face is the selling price always missing. For those residential property, right? They always miss out this selling price. Okay. Please in your appraisal, please follow this one. Okay. In your appraisal, I hope to see something like this for residential. This one. I hope to see how many unit you have. What is the price per unit? Okay, that because this is very important because people when ask you, your unit what is the selling price? So straight away we will use this one. Very unlikely we will use selling price per square feet or built up area. You can have, but then the most important thing you have to let me know is the selling price per unit. Per unit, this one should be appear in your executive summary and also your development appraisal, the discussion part. Okay, so any other question? I still got time. If you have question, you can ask me. Is there anything that I have to take into consideration in my assignment if I apply commercial mixed use? I don't see any different, Hong Lam. It should be everything that I already discussed with you. There is no other special thing. Just that the calculation part here, the calculation part, why gone already? The calculation part here should be different a bit. Other than that, should be the same lah for other type. Just that the calculation part a little bit of the different. Okay, and another thing before I forget, your assignment, right? You will use a lot of assumption, isn't it? So please give a table of assumption, list of assumption, whether it's sell assumption, whether you get for other sources, like let's say you get from CIDB, or let's say you get from ISM, or let's say you get from HPROC. So you actually need a table of the assumption so that I know which figure you assume yourself, which figure you get the proper sources. All of the costs needed need to be based on our, yes, correct. And make one thing clear lah. I won't expect a correct figure at the end. I won't evaluate the correct figure at the end. I will evaluate the process of doing, because it's not so fair if I evaluate whether your figure accurate or not. I will be more like evaluate the process of your preparing the appraisal. Okay, so you can feel free to make any assumption, but make sure you actually present it in a good manner so that I understand. Okay. Any other question? Remember